Good morning, everybody. It is Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, 2021. No, not 2021, 2018 Innovation Award winner. I'm going all over with my dates here. Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. Also, I co-host and co-produce the only online show for dads and fathers. It's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And in 2022 and 2021, being part of that collaboration was part of a team that reached out directly and indirectly to over 100,000 fathers around the world. As always, I'd like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. And good morning, everyone around the world, whether you're watching this live on the replay. Hope you're keeping blessed and highly favored. Good morning, Ryan Knight. You have yourself on mute, guy. There you go.
Hey, good to see you, Dr. Vibe. For those that don't know who the muted Ryan Knight is, I'm one of the co-founders of the Afro-Caribbean Business Network. We work with entrepreneurs of African and Caribbean heritage, really to figure out what stage their business is in and then help them create a blueprint to grow their companies exponentially. I'm an entrepreneur myself. I do run a company called Detail Ignites, and we are on a mission to expand across Canada and into the US. So stay tuned to our journey. We provide mobile waterless car cleaning. We go to people's houses, their offices, clean their cars on the spot without water, and our plant-based eco-friendly cleaning supplies. Also, we have a youth entrepreneurship program that we run in the summer months for high school and college students to learn how to start their own business by working. They pretty much run a mini version of Detail Ignites. And you'll see I'm still rocking PACU, which is the Pan-African Credit Union. So if you do want to see a Black-focused and Black-led financial institution come into being, definitely go to pacu.ca and put your pledge in so you can become part owner of this up-and-coming credit union.
Okay, lots of things going on these days on the Morning Vibe, so let's get at it. Let's also say that this episode of the Morning Vibe is sponsored by the Macmillan Group, providing mortgage solutions one client at a time since 1999. Buying, refinancing, or investing, call them in Canada at 905-813-4354 or in the US 904-586-5636. And that's what relates the US number, because that's a Florida-based number. And our special friend who's coming back today is in Florida. So that is a good thing. Also, nice. More stuff. Here we go. Frequency Event Productions is holding a building business partnership via dialogue. Brick and mortar and click and order businesses are ready to expand your network, increase your visibility, promote your business. Talk about it. There is the URL code for you to register. Now, the deadline to register for this event, which is being held tomorrow, if you're watching this live on the 16th, there's one on the 17th of January, and there's another one on the 23rd of January at 6:30 p.m. Now, the deadline to register is today at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday, January 16th. So, and there's a discount code for tickets, and it's FEP 2023. FEP 2023. So as you see, more people are seeing value of this platform and promoting their businesses and services on this platform. So
Nice, nice.
there we go. And we've got another new sponsor coming up midway through our conversation today. So a lot to go on. What is going on with you, Ryan Knight?
Things are good. We got to check out like a family fun place in Oshawa called Nebs. So they have bowling, VR,
Bowling.
what's it called? Go-karting.
Wow.
They have a roller coaster inside there. So
What?
yeah, got to take the family and chill out and have some fun. Play some Street Fighter versus Capcom, which was big game back when arcades were still the hot place to be when I was younger. So
good stuff.
It was nostalgia there. I got to face my daughter and kick her butt.
Oh, you mean dad? I thought you were. I thought you were a girl. I thought you were a girl dad, not a mean.
That Dance Revolution. Remember that step game? Oh man, my calves are still on fire from that shit.
Wow, I thought you were a girl dad, not a mean dad.
Hey, when it comes to competition, they gotta learn.
Okay, just another thing, announcement-wise, if you want to know about how to launch a podcast, I'm going to be hosting a 3-part webinar series hosted by Innovation Guelph, which is a organization in the Guelph, Ontario, which is Southwestern Ontario area that helps business and entrepreneurs. January 19th, February 2nd, February 16th. The link is there. So if you want to hear from a guy that's done over 4,000 online conversations and counting, check out. It is free. It is free. The first 2 sessions I'm going to be doing facilitation, and the last one is a Q&A. So want to encourage anyone who wants to learn more about this thing. Well, when I started podcasting, it was audio only, but now they call this podcasting, which is a whole other conversation. But yeah, so I want to put it out there for that. But so good weekend, and we got some cold weather happening this weekend.
Yes, and we were spoiled with that mild weather, and now it's minus double digits with the wind chill, and the wind just finds any open crevice. So please dress warm, dress for the weather. Do not, the fall, that mild fall, whatever you want to call it, of January is done. So let's get back to it.
Well, it's all good, and you know what? It's supposed to warm up this week. So we're getting little bites, but not long extended yet.
Yeah.
So I can work with that. So lots of things going on the weekend. We got some people saying hello. Destiny Savory from Little Ochi. What? Little Ochi, that is a great memory in my journey. So a number of years ago, I went to Little Ochi and had some of the best seafood ever.
Okay.
You went and you go inside, and you get to order it, and then they barbecue it, and then we went out to a raised hut in the sea, and they brought it to you, and you ate cooked barbecued seafood, raised hut in the sea. Aldofina, greetings. Did you send in your email information to Frequency Event Promotion since you won? Just checking.
True.
And new friend, Merrick McDonald. Keep up the great work, gents. Love this connectivity that you're providing. I don't know who you are, but now I do. So you're part of the family. You have been put in the circle. You are part of the family. So yeah. So that was a good weekend. What did you do your gaming thing, bowling thing yesterday or on Saturday?
That was Sunday, and then Saturday again. Hey, running errands. Heading back to Peel for some, still some shops that we like in Mississauga and Brampton. So we headed down as a family.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah,
how many kilometers do you put on your car a day? I was gonna say a year, but a day.
Well, I try not to drive too much now. So
good.
Usually, so my Prius has 444,000 kilometers on it.
How old is it?
I am an advocate for Toyota Priuses. These things are beautiful to own because the maintenance is so low and it just runs.
How long have you had it?
Oh man, it's a 2009. But
okay, all right, that's all right because I was saying 400. Going woo.
Yeah, I've had it since about 2013. Yeah.
Good for you. Good for you. No, that's amazing. That is great. And Alafina says, yes, I emailed. Thanks again. Our pleasure. Our pleasure. And as usual, Ryan loves to give me his gala alerts via the phone. So he gave me another one. He gave me another one, at least I think 2 since we were last live. I'm just going. So I guess the world is waiting for Ryan's gala alert. Section on the show.
We're gonna have our section, our gala watch.
Thank you. And did you make it out at all to was Black North this Saturday?
No, the 21st.
21st.
So oh my gosh, ECCC, which is an organization run by Pauline Christensen, who used to be the president of the BBPA.
Yep.
She was running the Martin Luther King Jr.
Yes. Would like to commemorate. In the U.S., it's a national holiday, Martin Luther King Day. So salute to Martin Luther King, all the things he's done, not only for melanated people in America, but people around the world. So transformational leader. So that is want to say hail up to Martin Luther King on Martin Luther King Day, and how many years people had to fight to get that recognized as a national holiday. And I'm wondering, because I know I don't know if some states still, I don't know if every state is celebrating it. That's another thing, but that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's good. That's good. So yeah.
How were your conversations over the weekend?
It's like gradually going tornado these days. Saturday night with Aisha, Jill, and Lala, almost 2 hours.
Okay. What was the hot topic? I didn't get to see it.
So a few things. So this is State of Things with Aisha, Jill, and Lala. First of all, we hadn't had a live show since December 17th.
Okay. So a lot of catching up.
So a lot of things. Kevin McCarthy being, Speaker of the House, how that took like 12 votes. Also, the ongoing scandal with President Biden and these top secret papers.
Yes.
Also, the new culture war subject in the United States is gas stoves, believe it or not.
Yes, they want to ban them, right?
Yes. So that's becoming the new culture war topic. Like last year, last few years it was education in schools. Now it's the culture wars. Also, we had some reflections on people who passed away. If you're into rock music, legendary guitarist Jeff Beck passed away. Also, there were a few other people who have passed already in this year. And then Jill, for those who don't know, Jill Jones was a member of Prince's entourage for 10 years. So she knows a lot of people in the entertainment industry. And people may, depending on how old you are, remember a singer named Taylor Dane.
Okay.
And she had her like 10 inches of her appendix removed because of some sort of illness. So it was cornucopia things going on, but gradually going tornado for myself. A lot of stuff going on, a lot of positive stuff, and got 1 or 2 new members of the team helping out for the next few months. New members coming on, so that is grateful. And we're speaking it in the next week or two. We're going to have someone put some energies on the morning vibe.
Okay.
To get we're speaking and get someone to help and get some clips on different social media platforms so people are aware. Because right now, basically, the only place you can catch this program is wherever you're watching it now. So what we also want to do is get clips on different platforms like TikTok, like LinkedIn we're already on, but also YouTube Shorts, etc. So we would like to have little teasers, as we call it, so people can get more interest in the show. One of the challenging things, I was very excited about getting over 1,000 subscribers. It's not like 1,040 on YouTube. And I originally thought, okay, all I have to do now is get 4,000 hours watched on your channel. You can qualify. Now I found out you have to have a lot of YouTube Shorts views on top of it now.
What? So they added that as a criteria? I thought that was like a bonus section of YouTube.
No, it's just really crazy now. And this ties in nicely with our friend who's coming back today about monetization of social media platforms. So when I found this out, I went, what? Like, I'm going to just earn Yeah, and YouTube has changed up their platform a little bit. Many ways to earn. Yeah. So you have to have oh, okay. No, so you have to have over 1,000 subscribers. You have to have over 4,000 watch hours, and then you have to have 185 public 10 million shorts views.
What? 10 million?
Yeah.
Okay.
That
sounds so heavy.
That is just totally out of bounds. So I'm just caring about the subscribers. Let's just keep on pushing the subscribers. Also, another thing too, as always. Oh, good morning, Anthony, new friend of the show. You remember the family, but again, just subscribe wherever you're watching. Also, too, we are, I believe, still giving calendars away for 2023. I think 2023 hasn't really sunk in yet for people. I think
it's an ease into 2023.
Yeah, yes. They're easing into it. So, yeah, when I saw 10 million, I just went, really? Come on, YouTube.
How much you have already? Like
not a lot of shorts. So that's so the first one's done with subscribers. Second one will be done in regards to hours watched because people watch live or on replay. But I just thought I said 10 million views of shorts. I said, are you kidding me?
Maybe that's because they're really pushing shorts. So
maybe it's that they don't want to give away any money.
Well, true, but I know they want to do. They want more people.
I know shorts. Yes, so they want to compete with the TikToks and the Instagram.
They'll back you up on that.
Yeah, so
get the students on it.
Absolutely. So this is good. And YouTube's Alafina says, yes, YouTube got really complicated lately. Spills a new one that's going to be released by Q2, created with a focus on monetization of BIPOC creatives. Okay. Gotcha. Haven't heard about that one. Maybe our friend who's coming on is gonna know about that. Fitness IQ. Hello, morning, gentlemen. And oh yes, how was your appearance on Saturday?
Right. Yeah, it went. I mean, like you said, it's conversation. Got to talk a bit more about my journey in entrepreneurship, where it started, things that I wish I knew about money from the jump. So, hey, I was glad to just be on. And thank you to Camille from Fitness IQ for inviting me. And yeah, I love the conversation.
Wonderful.
So if you want to know about the conversation, go check it out on their YouTube. I think the name is The Things I Wish I Knew About Money. So look it up.
All right. Fantastic. And she says it was amazing. Interesting. She didn't say that about my appearance. So there you go. All right. So we've rambled on long enough. We have to get this wonderful lady back because the first time we didn't finish. It kept going on and on. So we're going to have Dr. Tachi back. We're going to bring her up on the digital stage. She's going to talk about, I think, media. Oh, yeah, I think media, the carryover 2022 and 2023. Dr. Tachi, good morning.
Good morning.
I love your Puma jacket on. You're looking sharp.
Look, it's actually a dress. So when I come on full. It's a whole Puma dress, okay? If you'd like to sponsor the Morning Vibe or me, Puma, feel free.
Well, oh my goodness, for those who don't know, this is the wonderful, beautiful, vivacious, energizing, entertaining, enlightening, empowering Dr. Tachi, the host of Mediascope, which is on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. and 6 p.m., all about media, tech, and pop culture. And I will say this publicly, I've been blessed and highly favored to know her digitally for many years. So one day we're going to make it the real thing. And also she's going to be launching a network in the next few months.
Yes.
Woo!
Yes.
This is someone you need to listen to and follow and also support. When this network comes out, you've got to support her and Curtis and what they're doing. So how you been, Dr. Tachi?
Oh, wow. Well, just trying to weave my way around the people wearing Uggs and shorts here in South Florida because apparently it's so cold to them that, and okay, granted, I'll give it to you. Like last night, I think it was 47, but it's not 47 like Toronto. You know what I'm saying? It's like, this is nothing. Like you don't really need a coat. If you have like a heavy sweatshirt, you'll be good. And then it warms up. I'm like, come on, babies. It'll be all right.
Yes.
how is the network? How's the network coming along?
Oh wow, it's really coming along. And is it okay to say? Well, I'm about to say that Dr. Vibe is on board. Is that okay to say?
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
Too late anyway. So we're really happy and honored and pleased that the king of media is on board with us. And
who's that?
Love it.
That would be Dr. Vibe.
Right? Remind him again.
Let me tell you, you are the king of media, sir. So in case you didn't know, I am, and even if nobody said it, I'm saying it. You are the king of media.
Claim it.
So we're really very pleased to have you on board and honored to have you on board, and can't wait to work with you, but it's going well.
You know, and I'm going to say I'm very humbled and honored. I'm saying, and as I always talk to Ryan, say, why can't we do this here in Canada? But you know what? My goal is to drive some Canadian content creators to your platform.
Oh, we need the Canada connection. I mean, you know that I grew up across the bridge. I mean, because I was born in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and you know that's right by Ontario.
Yes,
so, and then we moved to Buffalo, New York. So I have always lived across the bridge from Canada, always. So, except in my adult life, but in my childhood life, always there. So I was always watching Canadian programming, always had Canadian friends. So my thing is like, we need a Canada connection here, regardless of what it is, simply because of my background and my affinity for Canada and Canadians. So,
and I'm curious, are you seeing, or are there any surprises putting together a network that you didn't expect to encounter? Like that whole process seems totally new.
You know what? No, because I have been preparing for this this is now year 8 that Mediascope has been online, because remember, I've been reporting on all of this. I've been watching the trends, and remember, I've been a media professor since 2001. So wow. I have been watching this industry forever. The natural progression for what I'm doing is media ownership. And one of the things I'm very passionate about is students at HBCUs and creating a pipeline for them to become the next generation of media owners. So that's what I'm passionate about.
All right. So just before we get Tachi on the going, so got some people saying, good morning, Dr. Tachi Twana D. Is that part of your CQ family? Maybe
yeah, not. I'll say yes. Hi.
Okay.
He's been claimed.
But sometimes I don't know people other than by their handles, and so when they come on with a new name, I'm like, "Oh, your name is Susan, is it? Okay." So hey.
And there's Kim Williams. Good morning, Dr. Tachi.
Hey, good
Divine
morning.
Right says, you better go ahead, Sora Tachi. Loving the look.
Thank you.
Divine Right. Good morning, everyone from the DMV on this birthday. Is it your birthday today?
Hey, congrats.
It is Divine Right's birthday.
Okay.
Oh my God, it's wonderful. This is beautiful.
Yes.
So good.
The king of media.
Yes.
I'm not going to say that. I'm going to go there. And then Twana D says, good morning and happy birthday, Soror Divine Right. All right. And then Terry
and
Nicholson.
She's a soror. Yes. Hello. And Terry, hello.
There you go. All right. And let's see. Terry said, Fit Nance is gonna try to get the come up now. Baha, you were amazing too, Dr. Vibe. Yeah, after the fact. Whatever. All right. Let's get to some media stuff because that's why we're here.
Yes. Okay. Before I say that, you mentioned this whole thing. So here's the thing. I had this on, this is only the second time I wore it, but I wore this, now that I'm thinking about it, last year on MLK Day, and I was doing an interview with someone for Be More but I had on a different hat. And the hat was, I have a black fedora that I wore. But when I put this on and I looked in the mirror, I realized I looked like Run DMC. I'm like, damn it. But there was nothing I could do at that point.
Right.
And I had to go on. Thank God I didn't have any big chains or whatever. But I'm very cognizant now of not wearing the fedora with this so that I don't look like Run. No disrespect. I love Run DMC, but I was I really look like Run DMC with this.
Oh my goodness. Well,
too good.
What things that we did not cover for 2022 last time? Was there anything we didn't get covered?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Also, we're going to go into 2023 as well, because even before you said that, I was like, well, I also want to get into a little bit into some of these things. But before we go on, I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge again that yesterday was the actual birthday of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So we want to wish him a happy heavenly birthday. Thank you for your service and everything you did. Also, today is the recognized holiday in the U.S. of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. And really what they're calling this, it's not just a commemoration, it's supposed to be a day of service. So there are a lot of service projects going on, a lot of parades, etc. And I wanted to bring this up to commemorate him, but also to talk about the role that media had really quickly in the civil rights movement. I think the reason that there was even people knew about him, and of course the media was reporting on him and what he did. When you look at the March on Washington, when you look at the very many public events he did, the media was there, and that's really how the country and the rest of the world got to know who Dr. King was, because of media. Of course, in the communities through his good work, but wider spread because of what he was able to, his image in the media, right? And this got me to thinking that the role that media had in all of these different civil rights events.
Yes.
The reason that we even know about, or that there was a little bit more anger, and I'm not going to say by everybody, but by the masses, or being appalled that we could be so heartless and careless and just subhuman towards other people, was when the media, when you think about, really it was young people that were the forefront of the civil rights movement. Think about it. They were the ones, it was school children, it was a lot of other people, but school children, college students. In fact, there are so many stories of people I talked to, especially down here in Florida, where they went to places like FAMU, Florida A&M University. I have one of my really good friends, my line sister, her father, this is interesting, was there was like a warrant for his arrest when they were doing some things, and they were like, what is this warrant for? And then he told us a story of how he was, when the lunch counters, he went to North Carolina A&T, the lunch counters at Woolworths, he was one of the people that helped to integrate, and they all got arrested. So he was in jail for a week. And he said they brought them bologna sandwiches, and that's what they had to eat, basically, bologna sandwiches.
Look at this.
So that I mean, just being so close to people who did, and I saw them, we were like, you were arrested, and he went into the whole story. And the same thing with her mother, that they were in, but they said that they protected them. They were being sprayed with hoses, but they were protected because the front line would try and protect like the women that were in there, but they all were there together. So we're talking about youth that are really pushing this forward, and the media is capturing these youth. So when you're seeing dogs attacking youth, when you're seeing youth being sprayed by water hoses, because this is what we saw that in the media. And I think, even though we don't always follow that, I think for the first time people said, okay, these are kids, these are children, are we that
women, right?
And this is still the way when you look at Black childhood is not considered childhood. They're considered small Black adults. So you don't see them as children. But when you see their relative size and who they are compared to the violence that's being perpetrated against them, I think for the first time, people started to realize, okay, something's not right here. Even if they didn't move, even if they did nothing, in the back of their minds or in the front of their minds, they knew something is not quite right about this. Even though I don't have the courage to speak up about it, something's not quite right. So the media, as terrible as we can think media institutions are, they were instrumental in doing that. Also with Bloody Sunday on the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Alabama.
Yes.
And just the images through newspaper, through hearing it on the radio, through television. That was the first time I think that people really knew what is happening. So fast forward that in terms of other civil rights movements, when you get to South Africa and the fight against apartheid, right?
Wow.
Which in a sense
Yes.
is not really over.
Dr. Tachi dropping the knowledge bombs this morning, man.
But it's when that
I
news
don't want to go
spreads.
too long
Yeah.
with this, but I just wanted to
No.
put this. So you said the reason, and now we're talking about South Africa, which is, you know, thousands of miles away from the U.S. The way we got to know what was happening with apartheid and the apartheid movement
Media.
and different companies' roles in apartheid
Yes.
was that. And then think about when I was little, there was this thing. My sister and I know we had high level playtime because we actually did with our stuffed animals, because we were little at the time, the very height of the anti-apartheid movement in the 80s. We were very little, and so we took our stuffed animals and we actually had them sing and do a benefit against apartheid. And then it became a tax seminar after. Don't ask why. But, but it was that so we could educate people on financial readiness. Please don't ask why. It was both. But that shows you TV was such a huge thing in our lives. The fact that we grasped onto that and knew something was wrong. I mean, of course, we're African ourselves, so we know that. But we're small, so we grasp that something's not right and we need to do something. So we're going to have a benefit with our stuffed animals against apartheid. And so that was also at the time that little Steven from the E Street, Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band, he did his benefit against anti-apartheid things. So media was how we got to know about all of this. So as terrible as we think it is, it has been instrumental in making us aware of social movements and bring this back to the civil rights movement. That was many in this country, at least, and around the world, the first time we're seeing what's actually happening in America. So I wanted to bring that up.
Okay, let's time out because of the piles of comments. We got to get a sponsorship shot in. So let's give Dr. Tachi a little bit of a break. We have another sponsor on board for Egwu, especially for Day in the Next Few. Our next sponsor for today's conversation is Elemental Notes, providing customized herbal remedies to support you in optimizing your health. They help the melanated community take its power back health-wise. They're looking forward to enhancing your life from a health management perspective. Contact them at info@elementalnotes.ca or visit their website www.elementalnotes.ca. And also I'm going to put their band up here. So we're also going to put their contact information up. So this is another sponsor coming on board, and that's their contact information, elementalnotes.ca. Wonderful. And actually we had Nairobi Vision on a number of months ago, so she's the lady behind it. So she's made me a fan of elderberry syrup. Good stuff. If you take it, it's very good stuff. It's a very high potent vitamin C. So email address, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. So, Dr. Tachi, you're bringing the fire. You're bringing the comments. So I'm going to show some of these stuff that's going on. So, okay, of course, we got the birthday stuff going on. People saying happy birthday to Divine Right. We also have Terry Nicholson. Happy birthday, Serena. Share Knight, another sponsor, Ebony Occasions. Good morning, all. I love learning so much from you, Dr. Tachi. Happy birthday, Divine Right. Big up to all the fellow Capricorns. A lot of Capricorns.
I'm just kidding.
Divine Right. Love you. Thank you, Cher. I appreciate your birthday love. When is your B-Day? Then also, I think Divine Right wants to take over this show, by the way. Yes, so attached. She is a wealth of information.
She has.
Yes, you're welcome. Terry Nicholson, happy birthday. Look at this. Teach and inspire. Good morning, everybody. Wow. And then happy birthday. Okay, let's get back to media. So, by the way, thank you for dropping the knowledge on that, by the way, in regards to the historical perspective of media. I think that should not be forgotten. So thank you for that masterclass.
Absolutely. And by the way, in addition to being the king of media, you're also the king of sponsorships. I'm like, let me get on board with Dr. Vibe so a sister can get sponsored. Okay.
The invitation is always open to that. And let's just put it this way. The master is going to be helping me more. You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. That's
Okay,
amazing.
But it's interesting because when you talked about media coverage of the civil rights, it was their non-coverage that's really important as well, because it took a while for the media to cover certain things. It took a while for them to cover the apartheid. So that's where something like your platform is so important, where we can decide now what to actually cover because we can see how powerful it is. So yeah, just that context makes, like you said, media so important, so foundational to our message.
It is, and that's interesting because the right media, and you hit it on the head. What is the important stories are often what is not being talked about, what is not being covered. I think we have to remember that when we look at news organizations and news cycles, there is a certain a certain slant, right, that they all have. And they try to stay within their slant. So for every one story that gets covered, there are 10 million others that don't get covered, right? And so at a news station, I know in television news, they have a morning meeting and an afternoon meeting, and that's where they discover what stories are going to be covered, who they're going to send out, what photographer or videographer they're sending out with the reporter. And so I've watched where it's like, okay, well, we don't have time to cover that, which means it's an important story, but we still may not have time to cover it. So it's the holes, right, that need to be explored in any new media, these news holes. So just wanted to say that. But we left off, and I'm trying to even remember. I needed to go back and rewatch what we did, but because I was jumping all over the place. But one thing, I don't know if we talked about it, but streamers. Did we talk about streaming media? Okay, well,
no.
One thing that was instrumental and this has been for the past few years, especially since 2020 and the pandemic, where the rise of streaming media has basically it's exploded. Streaming media has exploded because we were all on lockdown. We had nothing the hell else to do. And so what do? Watch television, consume content. So there was this explosion in 2020 or 2021 of that type of thing. Now, here's the thing. There's this explosion, but also there's somewhat of a lack of content, because where does that stuff come from? It comes from production, right? Production of not so much local stations, but production companies, right? But if you're on lockdown, that means you also can't shoot things to put on these things. So you're noticing, okay, well then what are we going to put on if we Yeah, so there were some things, for example, movies and television shows that were already in production before the pandemic, and they were able to already have, they had some stuff to put up. But if they hadn't finished production, then it's like, okay, you're in the middle of a season, and it's like, okay, I don't have anything else to put on. Do we then forgo and wait a little bit, postpone the season, or do we put up what we have and then keep going? So there's that paradox there, right? So we started to see, I think you started to see a lot more kind of reality-based things, because you could not be in person to shoot narrative stories or scripted stories. Right. So you started to see a rise of more reality-based things. Newscasters were doing it from their homes, right, etc. But what I've noticed from last year is, even though we're still, for the most part, some people have gone back, right? There is still this remote mentality, in a sense, with it, because they got caught on late. Like Dr. Vibe has been doing this from jump. You caught on late, right? So all of us were live streamers. Yes. We knew we could do this. They didn't know, because they were stuck on the old paradigm and the old way. But the paradigm shift came with, well, you can't do this. You have to do it this way. So unfortunately, the media works with paradigm shifts that are forced and not elected, right? So they were forced to do this. But what I'm seeing, and what I saw last year, is kind of this continuation. Well, you know what? It's actually cheaper to do production this way. So I don't always have to fly someone into the studio to do this interview. Yes. We can connect via this. And we've kind of mastered it or perfected it during the time we were on lockdown. So why don't we keep using it? We've also invested in the tools to do this. So let's keep doing it. So you'll notice that, you know, even though they had always had people join via the beauty of, but it was always through Skype or whatever. But now there are these tools that have developed so that we can bring people in. So there's still, last year I noticed there was still a carryover from the height of the pandemic of remote connections, for example, on television, especially, right? So remote was the word of the day last year.
And I'm curious with because Netflix films like their entire season in a batch, did you see, because I feel like they kind of were ahead at the beginning, because now, like you said, normal television where the seasons is ongoing, that kind of had to halt, so people move more to the streaming services that you could binge the whole thing. But now everybody got on board. The hype of Netflix is starting to wane as people are filtering out to say, hey, now I'm just going to stick to Disney because they have all the stuff that I want. Or I'm just going to stick to HBO and Crave because they have the things that filtering aspect where now people are picking and choosing. So Netflix not being the big dog anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't see kind of what's next for them. Like, how do they regain, or is it kind of diluted and gone already?
My dear, we're next. Indie Soup Media is next. Forget Netflix. Anyway, no, but seriously, there's room in the space for everybody. That's a very, very, very interesting question that needs some thought. What is next? Because what has happened traditionally in the media industries is they've rested on their laurels. For the longest time, Netflix was the big dog on the block. Let's go back. Let's go back to Blockbuster. Blockbuster, in terms of recorded media, was the big dog on the block. And then Netflix came in with like, if you'd like, you can go ahead and we'll send you your DVDs. And Blockbuster said, my dear, you will not survive. We are the progenitors of media. You don't know. Sit down, young one. And
I think quoted, he was like, people love to come into store and buy and shop around. And man, that got totally.
Let me tell you how
that's the CEO from Blockbuster was saying.
Exactly. So let me tell you, when I've actually had Netflix since the early 2000s. Now, I got it because at the time, I remember very well, and I don't get sick very often, but I caught the flu from one of my, raggedy students, probably at GW or whatever. So I caught the flu and I was like, oh gosh, I need stuff to watch, right? Because I refused to get cable. So I didn't have cable at the time. I just used antenna. So I refused. So I was like, well, I need stuff to watch. So I signed up for Netflix. And they mailed me. I said, oh my gosh, this is the best thing since sliced cake. Yes, it's a cake. Yes. So that's what got me onto it. But the thing is, if that was me and realizing that, okay, it can be delivered to me and I don't have to really do anything but just be, that's really what, and I think in a way that was the kind of the turn of the everybody wants stuff in person. There are a whole bunch of different things. So people still like shopping, but that was really when people discovered not only can I order things from like Amazon, I can now get my media mailed to me, and then forget it when they actually started streaming. Right? They were the progenitors of that. They started streaming. So you could have the plan where it was streaming only, or you could get your DVDs, or kind of like a combination of both. Sorry, Netflix. I think I still have one of your DVDs here.
But they had no late fees, right? That was their whole thing.
They had no late fees. You just had it. And when you send it back is when you could get more. That was the thing.
Yes.
So, I think that was really when it started to turn. So the whole thing with the streamers is, Netflix still has a slight lead, but you have Disney Plus crawling on their back, because this is what happened. And I'm sure you all remember that. And this is connected to what happened like within the past 2 years, that networks and other channels saw the success Netflix was having and said, well, you know what? We actually own this show that they have, so we could just get the rights back.
Yes.
When that licensing agreement is over, we'll just put it on our own streamer. So had their own streamers built out, and slowly but surely you had Marvel properties, Star Wars properties come off of Netflix. Friends had come off of Netflix at one point. What was it? The Office had come off of Netflix. So all these things, slowly but surely, these shows and movies were coming off because other networks were forming their own streamers, putting them on, and we continue to see that.
Peacock's a great example.
Yeah, NBC took their stuff.
They took all their stuff back. Exactly.
Nice. All right, let's catch up on a whale of comments. So, Wassell's saying to Divine Right, bless Earth Strong. Or Divine Right, LOL. I'm sorry. I'm like walking virtual birthday party. Sorry to disrupt.
Love it.
She also says yes to the sponsorships.
Yes.
Fitnats goes, right. Him have plenty of sponsorships. Well, I don't have that many, but it seems like I have more than most.
One is plenty. Okay.
Share, happy belated birthday. Share night of Ebony Occasions. Another fellow Capricorn. December 27th was her birthday.
Oh.
Tawana is saying media bringing a visual to the injustices and definitely help push the civil rights movement. Divine Right says, Tachi, I was tempted yesterday to send someone your Be More Earth segment about being positive on these streaming streets. Some people are not kicking off 2023 on a good foot. Let's see. We are, as always, happy to Tim Frey, always a friend of the show. Wassell saying smaller production teams plus digital tools plus niche targets plus individual creation. Nice. I like that. Very well put. Divine Right saying happy belated birthday. Share. Hayden, another family member. I expected major changes to the social media after its coverage of the Queen's death and the real history that the mainstream media didn't want to cover.
Yeah.
Okay, I know you have something to say. Just let me finish up on that one. Terry Nicholson says happy belated birthday. Share. And also Alfina, the shift in the media trends and the curation of content. What a time to be alive. Oh, Dr. Tachi, you have to come back on the reg, man.
I already told you yes. I don't know what else you want.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. It's getting harder for the and see, this is a perfect example of collaboration because Dr. Tachi helps our family, and we're going to help her family by putting some content on her platform. So this is real collaboration. Hayden says it's getting harder for the major networks to control the narrative, especially social narrative. Okay. And then Wassell says, LMAO, one really is plenty. We should celebrate ourselves and each other more. All right. And Divine Right says, yes, come back soon, Dr. Sortai. We're working on that. Don't worry. All right, Dr. Tachi, you're back. Give you a break.
Okay. So no, that's fine because I'll keep going. So absolutely, absolutely. So to the point, the gentleman, who was it that put up the comment about the Queen and the change in social media? Okay, Morrison.
Yeah.
Okay, so I expected major changes to social media after its coverage of the Queen's death and the real history that mainstream media didn't want to cover. I didn't. I didn't. I don't have, unfortunately, I love media, but I don't really always have high expectations for it because media does what media does. Things only last one news cycle and then out of sight, out of mind. So there was a lot that happened. And that is actually, so it's interesting that you put that. That was actually a story for, in terms of 2022, something that I was looking at. That was finally the year when people were fed up of all the nonsense of the monarchy. And I think people were not afraid to say it. Of course, there were people like, how dare you? You should show respect and reverence for the monarchy.
Yes.
As a child of people that were colonized by that country, I don't give, excuse my language, two damns about the monarchy, and I could care bloody less. I don't care.
The biggest landowners in the world.
Exactly. And then if we want to talk about, what this progenitor to the civil rights movement, obviously that happened because you forcibly shipped people around the world. Europe, you were involved in that as well.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
So England was the biggest progenitor of that.
Orchestrator of it. Right.
Biggest orchestrator. Yes. And then when it comes to colonialism, terrible. So they're very guilty of this. So, but the thing is, obviously, and I don't want to get into it, but the thing is the Queen stood idly by and you were in charge while you know, a lot of this was happening. Not originally, you weren't born, but you were still there and really did nothing to it. So I think what you were seeing in media from news reports and what is the woman who wrote the book about it, and then there was all the uproar about it, and they said, oh, she should be fired from her spot. I can't remember, but you all know who I'm talking about. But there was actual criticism. Now, there's been criticism of the crown. There's been criticism of the monarchy and the royal family before. But I think after her death, in media, we saw so much more of it, right? But again, these things only last one news cycle. So now on to the next, right? We've gone on to the next story, and people have forgotten all about the anger and the fervor that they had for this thing. I haven't forgotten. Many other people who were affected haven't forgotten, but that's the way news cycles work. So I'm not surprised that there's been no change, because that's the way it always works.
But then now coming into 2023, where Prince Harry releases his book, does that keep the conversation going about the uselessness of the monarchy instead of it just kind of falling off?
For a minute. So, I mean, so here's the thing, right? So we've got, let's talk about Netflix for a moment, right? And so we're jumping into 2023. So the big stories last year, obviously, is this whole discontent that Prince Harry and, is she Princess Meghan? I guess, right? They just call her Meghan Markle, whatever.
They don't call her that, yeah. Technically, I think she is princess.
Yes, technically. So that whole thing, that the discontent and the mistreatment, that's all starting to come out, right? And so now they've left. They've got deals with Spotify, right? They've got deals with Netflix. So they have, although the deal with Spotify is on hold, but they have all these major media deals to tell the story, because at the heart of media is storytelling. So people want to know and tell the story. Now, this was Meghan and Harry actually was number 2 last week in terms of viewing on Nielsen ratings. Number 1 from Netflix, you know, not just Netflix, it was everything. It was number 2, up from number 4 on Nielsen ratings. Number 1 was Wednesday, the Netflix hit Wednesday based off of the Addams Family. So number 1 was Wednesday. Number 2 was Meghan and Harry. Number 3 was Coco Melon. For those of you who know, don't know, Coco Melon is a show for like toddlers and preschoolers on Netflix and YouTube and everything.
Yes.
So I'm like, where did that come from? But
okay. That. Nah, we watch Gracie's Corner in our house.
Oh yeah, Gracie's Corner. That's a good one. That's a good one. But for some reason, kids love Coco Melon to the point that it was number 3 on Nielsen's most watched last week. So the fact that they're number 2, and this coincides with the fact that the next 3 episodes in the saga dropped on Netflix. So to your point, yes, it stays in the news as long as they are talked about. That's with anything. So Netflix dropped the next 3 episodes. Yes, his book, Spare, was I don't know if anybody's read it, but from what I was reading about it, it's basically the fact that, okay, you're just a side thought. You're there to be a spare to William. And again, basically that
I didn't know that's what it meant. That's what the title was, because he was saying
even spare parts. Spare parts.
Like with William's kids now, he's like, message to the kids, like, hey, one of you is the spare to whoever the eldest one is, like the other 2, and I was like, I didn't realize what the name of the book meant, but now that you're explaining, I'm like, oh snap! So that's why all this tea is getting dropped in this book, because he's not having it.
Dropped and spilled. The whole thing is just dropped and spilled. Okay.
The spare. Whew, that man, you know that like middle child syndrome, like stuff like that stings in a different way that a child that isn't the middle child or the spare wouldn't understand, you know?
Exactly. It's
okay.
So
let's get off the royal family and all these crazy
things.
Absolutely.
But
please,
just to
that's what they want. That's what they want.
Yeah. We're not going to give them any more shine, but just to answer your point, until the next news cycle. So
what do you see we're going to hear, feel, see about media in this upcoming year?
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about that. So there are a couple of things I could talk about it in general, but there are a couple of things that I've seen this year already that is interesting. And wow,
Oh, by
time
the
is
way,
running.
I just want to interrupt you, by the way.
Yeah.
Just want to interrupt you a few things. Terry's saying Dr. Tachi is full of so much knowledge. Can't wait for her to come back.
Oh, thank you.
Ray, good morning, everyone. Great conversation. Okay, here we go. I also want to see more of Dr. Tachi on a regular schedule, please. I love your candor with good humor and good vibes, Doctor. Next Gen needs to see and more hear of these conversations, more collaborations. We are stronger together. Okay, I'll let you continue after that.
100%.
No, that's fine. No, absolutely. We all need to collaborate. So I want to bring up, there are a couple of things that, and I didn't realize we've been talking for a while now. So I'm sorry. But so let's bring up this whole thing with Demar Hamlin. The
Buffalo Bills,
the Buffalo Bills football player who collapsed on the field, right? That's one of the biggest stories of this year. And so there are a couple of things about this that I want to bring up. This was a big story, obviously, because it puts sports and more than sports, the NFL in the spotlight. And there was already a cover-up that had happened in terms of the amount of people that were affected with traumatic brain injury because of being tackled and knocked down and all those types of things. And a big cover-up with that. And then finally, okay, well, it happened. So this is a whole thing of now being placed on the NFL of not really taking the players' health into account as much as we feel we should. We look at Demar Hamlin, who is a rookie now, and thank God he is, coming back strong, but we still don't know what the long-term effects of that collapse was, whether or not he'll be back. We don't know. And, I'm not a doctor, so I can't speculate. But the whole thing is this was a young man or is a young man. He's a rookie 2 years in, so he's not vested. And please don't think by this means that I like football or care about football. I don't, but this is a big story. So, Demar Hamlin also, he only made, I saw a local Cleveland show, a sports show on local Cleveland, and one of the air personalities on there.
I saw that.
You saw that, right?
Yes.
So I watched it, and he was saying that he made $800,000 a year. $800,000 a year with respect to what some of the vested, more senior players are making is peanuts. I mean, for us, that would be like, I'll take $800,000 a year, but not for a player who is risking their life, because it is very risky. And I think for the first time now, we're seeing there were a couple of things that happened in media because this happened on live television, live radio, live tweeting, etc. People were aware for the first time of how dangerous this game actually is, because it's been able to be covered up before. And, the NFL covered it. And even when they did that cover thing, these cases were so far back, it's removed from us. But we saw this happen on live television. This, for the first time, says how dangerous this sport is and can be. And those of us supporting, now you can't turn a blind eye when you hear about these things, because now you're culpable, right? You're culpable when you see these things. If you enjoy, I don't care about football, so I've talked about this forever. But this even goes back to the media events of Colin Kaepernick kneeling, right? And those types of things. Now there, and how the NFL was not there for him in terms of expressing that freedom. Okay. Right. So this is just one more thing. And then we're looking at it. Okay, these are two very different incidents, but both of them are people of African descent, right? Of how disposable you are when it comes to these things. As long as you can run with a ball and you're healthy, you're good. But the moment you can't, do I really care about you that much anymore? Or the moment you're putting a public eye on us, on the league, do we really care about you that much anymore? So this year was a big year or is going to be a big year to watch what the NFL is going to do with regard to healthcare and their players, with regard to providing resources for their players and all sorts of other things. And this also shone a light on Black community. There were media stories that talked about this, the Black community, and how we are so quick to push our children into sports and entertainment. Now, I like sports. That's fine. I just don't like
Very
football.
true.
Sports is fine. Entertainment, I love. I'm in entertainment, media entertainment. But those are not the only two things that will get you ahead to live a good life.
Exactly.
Those are the things we push, and media stories put a light on, especially Black media, right? Put a light on this is what we do, and we need to find other role models for our children beyond things that are going to put them in harm's way, like football. So
wow, now
even
Dr. Tachi, we should just have you a segment just on how the media covered that incident.
certain things.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
go ahead,
yeah.
go ahead, Brian. Brian is
But the way that we highlight sports over academics, because there's so many other options in sports. We have a lot of us going for few positions and short-term positions. Entertainment could last longer, but even there, at a certain age, people feel like, oh, you're washed up, so you have a prime. Where there's other industries that we should be introducing our children to that have much more longevity and also pay very well, but the highlight and the hype always goes around the sports stars and even the artists.
Okay, I'm gonna do the comments before I'm gonna add on to that. So Charmaine says, happy belated birthday, love the conversation. Darcy says, another good morning, everyone. Great subject matter expertise and perspective. Please have Dr. Tachi back soon. Okay, there you go. Another person says, I encourage folks to see Ryan Clark's segment from Sports Center on ESPN. He said, we are not just looking at a football player. He is a human, and how these players put their lives on the line daily. Ray says, this injury is an expose to the inner workings of the NFL. Most players have a 3 to 5 year career, and life after NFL is bleak for many. Very true.
Yes, exactly.
Let's go here. Also, if it wasn't for the media coverage, I would not have known that the NFL had to make an exception to cover his medical bills.
Wow.
Ridiculous.
Look at this. What are we talking about?
Okay.
That's
why
crazy.
do we encourage our children to do laborious work instead of STEAM work? Or I think maybe STEM work, you're saying? And then
STEAM is STEM and STEAM.
Sorry. STEAM, yes. I'd share, if it wasn't viewed live on TV, they probably wouldn't have. And Donna's saying, thank you for this amazing learning experience. Oh. I think also, too, though, this has not really changed for many years. Because, again, that's why people like myself and Dr. Tachi, we do the type of media we do. Because mainstream media basically still pretty much has us in certain roles. As entertainers. Even the football players, basketball players, they're entertainers. They get paid to perform. So they are entertainers. Demar Hamlin, he's an entertainer. LeBron James, entertainer. You know, all they're entertainers. So that's why, and this is what I want to ask you, Dr. Tachi, do you see a movement to provide non-traditional roles being exposed in Black media by Black media creators?
If I said no, would you be upset?
No.
Okay. I do in some ways, but here's what I also think. The overwhelming majority of notable Black people in media are in a traditional paradigm system. This is not a word, but paradigmatic. Let's make that. They're in a traditional paradigmatic system that does the same thing. So if you are pushing the same narrative, how are you creating new opportunities or pushing the needle in terms of what you're talking about? You're not. You're just trying to insert here, and trying to insert people into the same system that is broken anyway. And so that's why, I mean, that was, again, not to shill, but that was one of the impetuses, whatever. That was the reason we started, you wanted to start Indie Soup Media, because the traditional is always doing the traditional. If you're always doing the same thing, nothing changes. I don't care, what ethnicity, what color, what background these people have. You're just fitting yourself into the same thing. So instead of begging people, to put me on or for a seat at the table, I don't beg. That's one thing I don't do. So I'll create my own table.
Is it tricky though? Because to Dr. Vibe's question, do you have to put out a certain type of content to get the eyeballs? Because we all know, like, the Kardashians attract eyeballs, and a show about the mining industry to introduce your children to biotechnology, like, wouldn't get as many eyeballs. So now, as a platform, you're going up against the traditional, maybe not so educational content that gets eyeballs and then advertising and sponsorship, but you're trying to push another narrative, but you can't get the eyeballs. Like, that dynamic creates a big strain, and then you kind of shift back to, okay, let's put out what people are going to come and watch. You kind of get trapped in that.
No, absolutely. It's a hamster wheel, and I get it. You have to be willing to go against the grain. But I would say when you look at places like TikTok, and when we think about media, often people are just thinking about the traditional linear media, like terrestrial radio, linear television, newspapers. They're thinking about those old media institutions. Of course, they still exist, but you can look at something on TikTok and it has millions of views. Okay, more than may have watched an episode of a show on ABC last night. So, and some of these people are people that are talking about history, that are talking about things. So I think it depends on where you're looking, and we need to consider social media. Social media is media. Okay, there's just an interactional or transactional nature to it, but it's still media. So I think we need to look at those places, and I'm seeing creators do things like that, and they're not the average SAG-AFTRA actors and nothing wrong with that. That's great, but they're not the people that are hired by the traditional industry to do that, and they're still getting views. So again, it has to do more so with where you're looking for this content, because it exists. But if you're looking for it on Channel 4, maybe it won't be there.
True.
So what do you feel we're going to see trend-wise in social media over the next few months?
UGC, more emphasis on UGC. It's already UGC, but user-generated content, even to the fact that advertisers on social media are going to do this. So people love, like, I love slick produced video. I'm a filmmaker and a videographer. I love things that are well done. You all know this, but there's also a place for that raw user-generated content that feels authentic. And I think in terms of social media, particularly in terms of advertising, because we're already seeing it in terms of what the users are creating, but in terms of the advertising, we're going to see more advertisers, more companies, more brands work with influencers, and I don't just mean the over 10,000 people, even the nano influencers, which is 2,500. I see them working with them more to create things, more brand integration than here, buy my product, more of integration into videos that they're doing. So that's what I'm saying, even more of this. And you're probably starting to notice more of the paid partnership things and that type of thing. So you'll see that more integrated into creators' content, and in terms of the actual ads that they put out there, like on Instagram, etc., you're going to see more UGC or user-generated content that they're using as ads. That's what I'm predicting.
Some comments here. Wassell says the youth needs to see and be seen in other roles. NASA had Black women calculators hidden behind every successful foundational project, yet easier to see those that are dancing a jig or in a sport. Ray has a question here. So severely impacted by the amounts of shares that basic content gets as opposed to the ones that educate and empower.
So by eyeballs, do you mean the audience themselves? Are you talking about the audience or the seeking of eyeballs? That's what I'm trying to.
Okay, so Ray, if you can follow up on that, be great.
Yeah, and then
Hayden says, where would someone like Roland Martin fit in Dr. Tachi's view? So what are your thoughts on Roland Martin?
Yeah, so interesting. I really respect Roland Martin for what he did. As you know, he's been in the game for a long time. Remember him from CNN, and then most recently on established the regular establishment television from TV1, where he had his own thing. But I don't think that Roland Martin is the type of person that can fit inside anybody's box, because he does his own thing, which is why he launched Black Star Network. Similar to what we're doing, and you can find it in a number of places. So he's able to focus on news and the news stories he deems important, rather than what a gatekeeper has done. Now, I think that if I'm being honest, I think he interrupts people way too much, and he doesn't let people speak. But I still respect what he does. His style of journalism is not, irrespective of the fact that I respect what he's done with media.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yes, you have to give him props for launching that network and basically funding. You get the crowdfunding it. Okay. Ray follows up here. The powers that manipulate the algorithms. Going back to his original question in this context, yes. So aren't the eyeballs also impacted on the amounts of shares of basic content gets, as opposed to the ones that educate and empower? And Ray says the powers that manipulate the algorithm. So I hope that gives you some more clarity on his question.
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, the short answer is yes. These companies are constantly changing the algorithm. Look, they're all beholden to advertisers because this is how they make their money, right? Mm-hmm. We have not found a more effective way of making the amount of money that you can through advertising with any other method. And so they're still beholden to advertisers. And so obviously the algorithms are going to be adjusted and tweaked to fit that. I don't care what they say. They are. But so this is why you, as a media consumer, a critical media consumer, you need to seek this out. And again, I already know the masses may not do this, but I think that sometimes media assumes that the viewing audience is stupider than they actually are. I think that viewing audiences are often quite intelligent, some of them, and they know what they want. And so it's you going to, I'll use TikTok as a thing, using those hashtags and putting media talk or media and seeking out those types of things that you want. So it's you doing those searches, just like you would do a search on Google for anything you want. You need to use the social media platforms like it's a search engine, because to be honest, they are search engines.
Yep. YouTube is a search engine. It's the second
YouTube
most
is the second Google.
Yeah.
It's powered by Google. So you need to consider them search engine. When people are looking for things, they go to YouTube. That when you're looking for something, let me go to YouTube and learn. YouTube University, has more students than any other university in the world. So, you go to YouTube when you're looking for something. Why would you not do the same thing with the social media? If you're looking for those types of things, don't just be satisfied with what they choose to give you, because there's an algorithm on YouTube as well, and they'll put these things, but most people go to YouTube for specific things. There's a creator I like to watch. I'm looking for how to change the pipe under the sink. They go for specific things. Use that same spirit when you consume other social media.
You know what? We're gonna stop it here because we could go on. And and I know, Dr. Tachi, whatever you haven't spoken about, hold on to it, because I'm thinking that in my alleged mind, I've been saying we should do a media monthly with Dr. Tachi. How does that sound, family? A media monthly with Dr. Tachi, because I know there's stuff she's written down she hasn't even touched yet. and the scary thing is, by the time we have her back on again, it's gonna be 3 times as much stuff.
There will be more. Yes.
Well, can I end my thing with one thing?
Please do.
So what we're going to continue to see in 2023 is this whole conversation around AI. If anybody has been on Clubhouse lately, and I know a lot of people still are not there, but the conversations have turned from NFTs, and there's still NFT rooms and things, right? From NFTs and crypto and things, and they're still there. But AI, now a lot of those same clubs that were talking about that are now talking about AI, and in particular, ChatGPT.
Yes.
And for those who don't know, ChatGPT is an AI tool that writes for you. So for people looking to make content, if you're looking up for an answer and you're looking up content or you want to write content for a blog, you could use something like ChatGPT. It's an AI that amalgamates things from around the web and writes it for you. I won't go into the whole thing about what I think about that, but just know that the New York City public school system has banned ChatGPT so that students cannot cheat. And that's one of my concerns with it. But I mean, they're good. I love the concept of it, but I also see the downfall. So we could talk about that next.
I think that definitely, I think that AI and media and AI could be a next conversation topic, because I was watching a fairly prominent YouTube channel, and this gentleman said one of the hot things for 2023 is AI, and also incorporating it into your live stream, like getting notes created and all that. You have apps like Descript that will do the transcripts for you, right? So the impact of AI in social media, I think, would be a great next conversation topic, because that's interesting. Tim Frey said the old system is dead. Absolutely. So, and people are saying about the idea of Media Monthly. Terry Nicholson says, sounds great. Fitness IQ sounds amazing. Birthday Girl, let's go for Media Monthly. Marcel, yes. Tana D, yes. Donna, yes. Terry,
boom.
Let's do Media Monthly. So I think the people have spoken.
Yes. Even if I wanted to say no, I can't now. So yes.
So Dr. Tachi, what's upcoming on Mediascope, and any more like telling people about Indie Soup? What is next for the next little while on your plate, other than Indie Soup?
Yeah, other than Indie Soup. Well, yeah, Mediascope will be back probably the end of February, because, you know, when you're putting together a network, there's a lot to do. So I needed this break to be able to kind of put things together. And yeah, I'm excited for season 8, you know, for it to come back together, and, you know, on a new platform as well, which is Indie Soup. So
wow.
Yeah.
Love it.
So folks, Dr. Tachi's contact information is there. And also, if you want to hire her, I think it'd be worth your investment. I'm not saying, I'm just saying be worth it. But as always, Dr. Tachi, thank you. You are loved, especially north of the border. You are loved. So, and that's not the Florida border. I mean, 49th parallel, by the way. You are loved. And as always, remember to give yourself grace. Don't just manage your time, manage your energy. And I think I'll be seeing you tomorrow night, by the way, because you're having a creators meeting tonight. Tomorrow night I can't make tonight, but we'll see each other tomorrow night. But reach out anytime, okay?
Absolutely. And Ryan, I'm going to start to call you Gala King. So if Dr. Vibe is the king of media, you are Gala King.
With the, you know what we have to do the next time we come together? We get to hold up a rubber chicken. I'll never forget that comment that you made.
There we go. Get to some rubber chicken, because that's about what you're going to get at a gala.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Oh, man. Blessings, Dr. Tachi. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh man, I didn't even get to ask her about the griot and what Byron Allen's done with Black News Network.
Dr. Tachi, are you willing to come back on for a second? Okay, because there's always bonus time. Okay, what's your question, Ryan?
We know Byron Allen purchased Black News Net channel and now renamed it the Griot. And as you mentioned, the Gala Watch, they started off with this big award show. So I was curious to get your perspective on what he's doing with the channel.
It's going to be interesting to see. I think it's too early to really say what's going to happen with it and that type of thing, because it's been such a short time. You know, full disclosure, I used to write for the Griot. So and Joy Reid was my editor. So
wow.
Gotcha. So I have a intimate relationship with the Griot as a publication, but it's really early to say what's going to happen. I think they're going in the right direction. Again, I would not have done this is me though. I would not have done a traditional gala. I think in order to stand apart, they're going to have to go non-traditional. So all these award shows, all these, just stop it. And it doesn't mean I don't want you to congratulate yourselves and pat each other on the back. But again, these are they're not for us. They're not for the audience. They are really for them to make money because advertisers will pay during these. So it's for them to congratulate themselves, and it's a money-making venture. But because some of us have this enamoration, I know it's not a word, but enamoration with celebrity, we will watch. But I think there's so much content out there, and we get the highlights that I'm not, let me say like they do down here in the South, I'm not finna sit here and watch 3 hours of you patting yourselves on the back.
Right.
No, it's just there are other things I could do. And not that you don't deserve it. You absolutely do. But I think there are different ways we can do that now. I'm always one for, let's go with the highlights of things, right? Do the ceremony, but do it for yourselves inside, away from televised, and do a social media thing. If you want to do it, live stream it on YouTube, you can. And then those who want to watch can watch. But I say go with the highlights and do something different. So I would like to see Byron Allen do something different other than what the norm is. I know the whole thing is content, so he's really going to need to put a lot of energy, I think, into original content instead of what they're doing now is they repurpose a lot of and license a lot of
like
content
curating
now.
Info I see from around the web, and it's like, hey, this is happening, but nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
There's nothing when you watch the Griot, the channel. There's nothing that when you watch it that's like, oh, that's earth shattering. They don't have a news thing yet. They don't have. There's nothing outside of I'm replaying these old shows and these old movies, and that could work, right? We've got things like Me TV, Grit, all of these channels that go off of nostalgia. You could definitely do Black nostalgia, but because we have so few channels. Getting niche sometimes can be problematic and hard. Okay. So, at least maybe he can, he's got all these other channels. You can launch something else that is niche, but with this, we need to see a little more breadth, I think. So I'm waiting to see what he'll do with that. I'm hopeful.
Okay. We are running hard against time up. Thanks for coming back, Dr. Tachi.
Okay.
All right. So we're in bonus time and we're running against time commitments. So very quickly, we're going to do a giveaway. So let's make this happen today. A great interaction. And yes, folks, we will have Dr. Tachi on monthly. The audience, the family has spoken. So, and she said yes a long time ago. This is giveaway time coming up for a Frequency Event Promotions calendar. Here we go. Darcy Rose, yes, sir. You are the winner. You are the winner. So nice. What you need to do, sir, is this. You need to email info@frequencyeventpromotions.com and put the Morning Vibe in your subject of the email, and they will send you out one of their calendars that features Black entrepreneurs in the Southern Ontario area. So we have had a jam-packed show today. Lots of stuff going on. Lots and lots of stuff going on. So just a few things. Coming up on Friday, Ray McMillan will be talking about real estate and mortgages and real estate. So look forward to that. Ryan, what's up for the rest of your week?
Getting caught up on a bit of admin stuff, but we have our study group that happens each Tuesday, the Black Ecosystem Study Group. So talking about how to use a blueprint to help bring together the ecosystem. We're working on a platform called Mkutano that organizes all these different moving parts in the Black ecosystem. So pretty excited about that. And getting ready for the conversation we'll have with Ray on Friday. But week not too hectic. A couple things. Actually, I'm going to be on a podcast on Thursday called Good Vibes. Well, I think we're recording it. I'm not sure exactly when it's going to air, but a gentleman, Tony Good Vibes, as I heard his name, I was like, I have to introduce you. I told him I have to introduce you to Dr. Vibe. So look out for that introduction.
All right. Replay information is scrolling along the bottom, family. Because of time, I'm not going to read it all. So a few big thanks. Thanks again to Macmillan Group for sponsoring this broadcast, contact information. Also, thank you to Elemental Notes for sponsoring the broadcast. Also, if you want, join me. Well, I'll be able to tell you next time we're on live on the Morning Vibe. It'll be the day after my first session about all things podcasting. The link is there if you want to sign up for it. Spread it around. I've been told there's already about 100 people registered for the first session. No pressure. So that'll be a lot of fun. And also, would you like to promote your business or service on the show? Contact me at dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. So we've got that. If you want to touch base with me, the deets are there, and you can tell we're really pushing the timeline here. So, as always, we want there, and there's a whale of comments. Okay, I'm gonna be like really flying through all these comments. All right. Darcy says, "Thanks, gents. Make sure you send the email to
congrats.
Divine Right. Thank you for allowing my walking virtual part to be part of the Morning Vibe. Always. Thank you for the pearls of wisdom, Sora Tachi. Happy birthday, Divine Right from Dr. Tachi. Alofino says, I would love to learn more. You will. Roxana, hi, everyone.
Good day.
Congrats, Darcy, for winning. Terry, great conversation, Dr. Tachi. Twana D, hi, Roxana. So people are connecting on the platform. This is good stuff. And Dr. Tachi says, hey, Roxana. Roxana says, hey, Dr. Tachi. And Dr. says, thanks, Terry. She says, it seems like I missed it. Have to go back and watch. Absolutely. And one more thing you got to do. Wherever you're watching this, please subscribe.
Yes.
Please. And I know a lot of you are watching on my YouTube channel. So what I need you to do is subscribe to the YouTube channel and also hit the notification bell. So that will tell you when the next conversation is coming. So you'll probably see in the next day or so our next conversation with Ray. And I have a gentleman on Thursday night who is very good at Google Analytics.
Solid.
On Thursday night. I'm looking to have him and Dr. Tachi together. So, as always, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions, then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Remember to give yourselves grace and don't just manage your time, manage your energy. We will see you on Friday, or before. And thanks again for all your support. Remember, subscribe. Later.